What's up guys, welcome to FoundFlix. The new adaptation of Stephen King's It is officially a gigantic hit, pulling in $123 million on its opening weekend. It has even surpassed long-reigning champ The Exorcist as the highest grossing horror film of all time. Unlike the book, which switched between the Losers Club as children and adults, Part 1 only showed us the children's story, now updated to the 1980s. And in the final blood oath scene taken by the Losers Club after initially defeating Pennywise, sets us up for a sequel, or Chapter 2, featuring the Losers Club as adults forced to reunite to fight it once more. And naturally, after the movie's gigantic success, director Andy Muschietti in interviews has been talking about what we might expect in the sequel. As it turns out, there's quite a bit of details about the sequel already, but nothing too much in the way of specific spoilers or anything like that, but plenty to get hyped about before the movie comes out, most likely in 2019. A crucial part of the original book is switching between the adult and children's viewpoints. And so rather than entirely focusing on the adults in Part 2, it will follow the same format of the book, featuring both the adult versions of the Losers Club in present day, as well as flashbacks with the kids in the 80s. The thing I want to bring in the next film that I couldn't do here is the dialogue between the two timelines. That was so important in the book, and we didn't get to explore that here, but I wanted to keep the story of the kids as pure and without interference as I could. The dialogue between those two timelines with all those flashbacks is so important to the book that I want to bring that back. So luckily, all of the beloved original child cast will be returning in the sequel, and it sounds like these flashbacks will be essential to their fight against it as adults. I want to make those flashbacks essential in the plot, where in order for the losers to figure out the clues to defeat Pennywise, they have to retrieve their memories from the past. It also sounds like we will be seeing other glimpses into the dark history of Derry, some of which was hinted at in the first film but unseen, like the Black Spot Fire and Easter Explosion, which were cut for budgetary reasons, but some could make it into the sequel. Producer Barbara Muschietti says she was particularly fond of the Black Spot sequence, where a black nightclub was burnt down by white supremacists while Pennywise joined in on the violence. We think it's going to be a great opening for the next film, she says. These various incidents throughout history show us the long-time destructive force that it has been on the area, and in the sequel we'll be learning much more about the backstory of Pennywise himself. A very cool sounding scene was shot but cut from the original film, deemed to be too disturbing, that alluded to this incarnation's origins of Pennywise as revealed by Bill Skarsgård. There was a scene we shot that was a flashback from the 1600s before Pennywise was Pennywise. And I'm not the clown, I look more like myself. It's very disturbing and sort of a backstory for what it is or where Pennywise came from. That might be something worth exploring in the second one. The idea is the it entity was dormant for thousands and thousands of years. The flashback scene hints on that. In the book, there is a much more cosmic side to things that we haven't seen so far. And in fact, it is from another dimension called the Macroverse. It has a mortal enemy also from this place, a giant turtle called Maturin that helps the Losers Club in their fight. For more on the history of Pennywise, make sure to check out my video on that. There were a few brief allusions to the turtle's presence in the first film, including at one point when the kids note a turtle nearby in the water, and when Bill confronts it as Georgie holding a Lego turtle. This subtly shows us the presence of the turtle protecting the kids in a way, and we will see this concept developed a bit more in Chapter 2. But most likely the turtle will remain unseen, as Muschietti finds the character too fantastic, and the turtle's presence will be more left as clues for the other kids to find to help in their battle against it. The moment you introduce the element of it, which is an interdimensional evil entity, the presence of the turtle comes with it as a counterbalance. Like all mythologies, there's a god of good and a god of evil. I didn't want to use it as a fantastic character, but it's hinted every time the kids are in danger or something. I wanted to hint at the presence of the turtle, and it's the turtle's continued presence in the Losers Club's lives as children that will come further into play in the sequel via those 80s flashbacks, directly tying us back into the present day adult storyline. In the second movie, the turtle left a few clues to their childhood that they don't remember. They have to retrieve those memories from the summer of '89, and that's how we jump back to 1989. The keys to defeating Pennywise are left in the past, and as adults, they don't remember. As adults, the club has drifted apart, moving on to their own separate lives and mostly forgetting about the past. But but all still bear the scars. Especially Stanley. He is the most affected by the experiences they had as children and has been deeply traumatized by it. In the book, once adult Stanley hears about the possibility of its return, even that is too much to bear, and he takes his own life, slitting his wrists. And it sounds like chapter 2 will follow through with the same outcome for Stanley, of which the seeds were planted for in the first film. He has an encounter with it in the incarnation of his father's creepy painting, and even though his friends do save him, he initially believes that they left him to die. And it's this experience and the impact that it has had throughout Stanley's life that in the end causes him to take his own. There is something in the future for him taking his own life that finds its seed in this film. He is the one who doesn't want to accept what's going on, and being the one who doesn't want to participate, he gets the worst part. Muschietti also said that the sequel will further explore the origin of it, but will be discovered by the Adult Losers Club members in a slightly different way than in the book. In the book, the children create a makeshift smokehouse of sorts, and after ingesting a healthy amount of the fumes, the kids learn of when it first fell to the planet millions of years ago. In the film sequel, rather than using the smokehouse, Mike, who is the only member of the club to remain in Derry, will be a librarian junkie whose decades in the home of it have taken a toll on him. In order to learn more about defeating it, Mike has been using drugs in an attempt to connect to other spiritual planes and learn more about it. And it's through drug-fueled visions that he will learn more about defeating it, as well as its origins. He's not just a collector of knowledge of what Pennywise has been doing in Derry. He will bear the role of trying to figure out how to defeat him. The only way he can do that is to take drugs and alter his mind. It sounds like his hallucinations will be extremely useful in the end, achieving the same results as the smokehouse in the book. And by the end of the 30-year gap between stories, Mike has figured out the ritual of Chewed, the key to defeating the creature. That'll wrap it up for what we know so far about the upcoming sequel to It. I like the way that they are both utilizing more of the original book, but also putting their own spin on things. And it should be way awesome to see more of that explored on screen. Are you guys excited for It Chapter 2? Which news sounds the most interesting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay tuned to FoundFlix for all the latest on It Chapter 2 and all things horror. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching. See you next time.